Hi, Mrs. Stanley here. I'm here today to bring you today's math lesson. Today we are going to be working on Module 5, Lesson 21, so let's get started together.
Hey Math Star, let's learn.
Partition the rectangle into halves. So we're going to split it into two parts. That shows halves. Shade in one half. Label each part with a unit fraction. When we're talking about unit fractions, we're always talking about just one piece of the whole. So one piece would be 1/2. The other piece would also be 1/2 because we're labeling with unit fractions. Next, we're going to partition the rectangle into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shade the number of fourths equivalent to 1/2. So I want to look at the pictures and make sure that my shaded amount of the whole is the same. Not the number of shaded pieces, but the total shaded amount. That's not quite enough, so I'm going to do another. And when I compare the two pictures, those look about equal to me. Label each part again with the unit fraction. The unit fraction for this whole is 1/4 because this whole is split into 4 pieces. How many fourths is equivalent to 1/2? 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2.
Ethan? I partitioned one rectangle into halves like this. I labeled each part with a unit fraction and shaded 1/2. I partitioned another rectangle into fourths like this. I labeled each part with a unit fraction. I shaded 2/4 because that is the number of fourths that are equivalent to the shaded half.
Awesome! Now name the shaded fractions.
For the top, it's going to be 1/2. For the bottom whole, it's going to be 2/4 because 2 pieces are shaded in. How many fourths is equivalent to 1/2? 1/2 equals, let's see, 2/4. Let me back up here, 2/4.
Kayla?
The shaded fraction in this area model is 1/2, and the shaded fraction in this model is 2/4. They have a different number of shaded parts, so I'm not sure if they're equal.
Even though the unit fractions are different, 1/2 and 1/4, the same amount of the rectangle is shaded for each one. That must mean the fractions are equal.
Let's test their equivalence by placing them on a number line.
All right, we're actually going to do our problem set together, so we're going to skip that part. And we're going to just go straight to our problem set for today. We're on Lesson 21, so you're going to want to make sure that you are opened up in your workbook to the Lesson 21 problem set. Please pause this video and get your workbook out and open if you need to. As we go through this together, there will be times where you will need to press pause to do your own work and then press play again to check your answers with mine. So let's get started today. I want to zoom in a little bit here. All right. Number 1, use the fractional units on the left to count up on the number line. Label the missing fractions on the blanks. So for the top picture here, we have, or the top of this number line, we have halves. Let's do this first one together, and then we'll do the next question on our own. At 0, we have 0 halves. Then we've got 1/2, 2 halves at the number 1, 3 halves come next, and then 4 halves at the number 2. Next, we're going to be labeling fourths. 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. As you can see, they already drew the lines for me. So, sorry, you can probably hear my kids in the background. Sorry about that. But yours should look like mine. I want you to do the next number line on your own. You're going to be labeling the halves on the top part of this number line. and the sixth on the bottom part of the number line. So pause this video, label it on your own, and then check my work with yours to make sure it's right. So please press pause and continue this on your own. Okay, time to check our work. Again, we're going to label our halves. 0 halves, 1 half. 2 halves, 3 halves, and then 4 halves over the number 2. Now we're going to label our sixths. And you'll notice that there aren't lines underneath every sixth. We just need to write the ones that belong on the line. So here we go. 0 sixths, 1 sixth, 2 sixths, 3 sixths. You see this line right here would be 2 sixths. 4 sixths, 5 sixths, 6 sixths would go by the number 1. 7 sixths, 8 sixths, 9 sixths, 10 sixths, 11 sixths, 12 sixths. All right, let's move on to the second part of this problem. All right, it says use the number lines above to color fractions equal to 1/2 blue, color fractions equal to 1 yellow, color fractions equal to 3 halves green, and color fractions equal to 2 red. So you're going to need a blue crayon, a yellow or marker, or something to write with, colored pencil, highlighter, whatever. So you're going to need a blue, a yellow, a green, and a red. Please press pause and gather your supplies, and then come back and hit play. All right. Let's start with the blue first. Let's do this together. Get my blue highlighter out here. So color the fractions equal to 1/2 blue. So here's 1/2. 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. Here's 1/2 again. 3/6 is also equivalent to 1/2. Now I need my yellow. If at any time I'm going too fast, please press pause while you catch up, and then press play again to hear the rest of the lesson. We want to color fractions equal to 1 yellow. So I'm going to look for 1 on my number line. There it is. 2 halves is equal to 1. 4/4 is equal to 1. Again, 2 halves is equal to 1. And 6 sixths is equal to 1. Next, we're going to get out our green. Color fractions equal to 3 halves green. If for some reason you're using like a dark marker, you might want to circle the numbers instead of coloring over them so that you can be able to see what you have later. All right, color fractions equal to 3 halves green. So I'm going to look for the 3 halves. Here it is, green. So I know that 6/4 is equal to 3 halves. If you can't tell, it's just, we know that they're equal because they fall in the same place on the number line. Got 3 halves again. And 9/6 is also equal to 3 halves. And finally, we are going to use our red. You want to color fractions that are equal to 2 red. So here's the number 2. 4 halves is equal to 2. 8/4 is equal to 2. Again, we've got 4 halves, and 12/6 is equal to 2. Let's switch here back to my pen. Let's go on to number 3 together. Let's see here. Trying to zoom in as best as I can. Uh-oh, too much. Maybe a little bit more. All right. Use the number lines above to make the number sentences true. I want you to try this on your own. Press pause and then press play again to check your work with mine. Okay, let's check this out together. 2/4 is equal to blank 6. So I'm going to look for 2/4 on my number line. Here it is. And it's equal to, I can see right here, falls on the same place, 3/6. Now we are going to move on to 6/6. Here's 6/6 on my number line. It is equivalent or equal to 2 halves. See? They're on the same place in the number line. And 4/4. Next, let's look at 3 halves. So I've got 3 halves right here. It's equal to 9/6, as well as 6/4. So So I want you to take a minute, check your work with mine. As you can see, I could tell where the equivalent fractions were because they wound up on the same place on our number lines. And that's how I made that determination. So I want you to take a minute, check your work, hit pause if you need to, and then turn the page. We're going to work on a few number problems together. All right, here we go. Let's look at number 4 together. Jack and Jill use rain gauges the same size and shape to measure rain on the top of a hill. Jack uses a rain gauge marked in fourths of an inch. So I think that sounds like some pretty important information. So I want to highlight that, I think. All right, so let's see. Jack uses one that is in fourths of an inch. Jill uses one and hers are measured. Jill's gauge measures rain in eighths of an inch. On Thursday, Jack's measured, let me change my highlighter color here. Jack's measured 2/4 inches of rain. They both had the same amount of water. So what was the reading on Jill's gauge Thursday? Draw a number line to help explain your thinking. So I'm going to draw my number lines here. First, I'm going to draw Jack's. And Jack's, his gauge used fourths to measure. So I'm going to just draw my number line here. This is Jack. Got 0 and 1, and his is in fourths. So I'm just going to split my number line into fourths, right? Got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Actually, I'm going to label that. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. The problem says that Jack's gauge measured 2/4 inches of rain on Thursday. So here's where 2/4 are. I'm going to write an R for rain. Next, we've got Jill's. And we need to find out how much rain Jill measured. They measured the same amount, but it was measured in two different ways. Because Jill's number line, or her gauge, rather, measured in eighths of an inch, right? So I'm going to split my number line into eighths. All right. So I've got 0/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. All right, so now I'm going to just use my number line. Obviously, I didn't draw it perfectly, but it just about lines up here at 4/8 inches of rain. So Jill measured 4/8 inches of rain because that is where our number lines line up. Make sure I answer the question properly. They both had the same amount of water, so what was the reading on Jill's gauge? So now I'm going to write my sentence. Let's see. Jill's gauge measured 4/8 inches of rain on Thursday. And I know this because based on our number lines, right? 2/4 is equal to 4/8, period. I have a word problem, so I need to make sure, in addition to showing my number work, that I answer the question in a word sentence. I'm going to read 5 aloud, and I want you to take a shot at doing this on your own, and then check your answers with mine. Get my highlighter ready to highlight any important information we might need to know. Jack and Jill's baby brother, Roscoe, also had a gauge the same size and shape on the same hill. Now we're going to be looking at Roscoe's. He told Jack and Jill that there had been 1/2 inch of rain on Thursday. Is he right? Why or why not? Use words and a number line to explain your answer. So I want you to just take a minute, pause this video, draw Roscoe's number line, and see if he is right. And then press play again to check your answer. Don't forget to write a word sentence to match our word problem in addition to showing your math. All right, let's check our work. going to draw my number line about the same size. This is Roscoe's. Okay. He says that there had been a 1/2 inch of rain. So his gauge must be measuring halves. When we have halves, we know we're just splitting our number line into, or whatever our hole is, into 2 pieces. So this is 1/2. This is where Roscoe says there was enough rain. So let's kind of just draw an imaginary line here. It's about the same place. So is Roscoe right? Yes. Roscoe is right. Because 2/4 equals 4/8. And it also equals 1/2, right? Those are all equivalent fractions. All right, Zerners, I want you to take some time and complete your Zern lesson for today. You can complete lesson 21 on your own, and I want to see what you can do. Remember, I get a report of all of your work and the things you had trouble with, as well as the things you did great on. So I want you to try this on your own. If you need extra help, please feel free to reach out to me on Google Classroom, Google Hangouts, or by giving me a call. All right, good luck, and I miss you all. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.